The night was supposed to be calm. Families were outside, children playing, lovers walking under the open sky. The stars always gave comfort. They were always there, shining above, endless and unbroken. But on this night, something strange happened. One by one, the stars began to fade. At first, people thought it was clouds, maybe a storm rolling in. But there were no clouds. The sky was clear, the air was still. Yet the lights above blinked out like someone was turning them off with invisible hands. Gasps filled the streets. Scientists on television scrambled to explain. Perhaps it is a dust cloud passing through space, they said. Perhaps it is a trick of the atmosphere. But their voices shook. Their eyes betrayed fear. The world held its breath and then silence. The entire sky was black. No stars, no moon. Only emptiness above. People screamed. Some prayed. Others fell to their knees, believing the end had come. In the largest cities, chaos spread like fire. Alarms rang. Crowds pushed and shouted. All around the world, humanity faced a sky that had betrayed them. But in a small, quiet town, hidden between hills and rivers, a single house stood in darkness. Inside that house was a mother and her young son. The boy was only 9 years old. His eyes were wide, reflecting the empty sky through the window. His mother held him close, whispering, "It's all right. It will come back. The stars will return." The boy slowly shook his head. His voice was soft, trembling, but filled with certainty. "They will not come back, Mama." The mother pulled back and stared at him. "What do you mean?" "Of course they will. This is only something strange in the sky." She tried to sound calm, but her own voice cracked. The boy pressed his small hand against the glass, as if reaching for the vanished heavens. "I know why the stars are gone." The mother froze. The room seemed colder. The sound of distant shouting from the streets grew faint, as if the world was waiting for the child to speak again. She whispered, "What are you saying?" The boy turned his head, his dark eyes glimmering with something she had never seen before. It was not fear. It was not confusion. It was knowledge. Ancient, heavy knowledge that no child should ever carry. "They didn't die," he said. "They were taken." The mother's heart pounded. She almost laughed, wanting to dismiss his words as a child's imagination. But the way he said it, steady, calm, sure, it was not the voice of a frightened child. It was something else. She grabbed his shoulders. "Who told you this?" The boy looked down. His lips trembled. "They did. The voices. They've been whispering to me in my dreams. They told me this night would come. They told me the stars would vanish." The mother stepped back. Her hands shook. Dreams? Voices? She wanted to scream at him to say this was nonsense. But her mind spun. She remembered the drawings he had made in recent weeks. Circles? Lines? Strange symbols that looked nothing like anything he had learned in school. She had thought it was only play. But now her stomach twisted with fear. The boy looked back out the window. "They warned me, Mama, the stars were not ours. They were never ours, and now, they are gone." The mother wrapped her arms around him, but this time it was not to comfort him. It was to protect him. She felt a terrible weight pressing down on them both, as if the whole world had shifted in one moment. Outside, sirens echoed. Cars rushed through the streets. People shouted at the sky. The world was breaking apart in fear. But inside that small house, in the silence of a single room, a secret had been spoken. A child knew the truth. And his mother, whether she wanted to believe it or not, understood that her life and the life of her son would never be the same again. The stars were gone, and the nightmare was only beginning. The secret, the night of silence, stretched into the morning. The world outside was loud with panic, but inside the small house, the boy and his mother sat in quiet fear. The mother had not slept. She kept staring at her son, as if he had turned into someone she did not know. He sat at the kitchen table, pale and tired. His little hands moved across paper, drawing. Circles, lines, strange shapes that looked like stars but broken, scattered, connected with paths only he seemed to understand. The mother leaned close. "Why are you drawing this?" she asked. The boy did not lift his eyes. "I have to," he whispered. "They tell me to." She swallowed hard. "Who are they?" The boy's pencil paused. His lips trembled. Then in a low voice he said, "The ones trapped in the dark. The ones who watch the stars being stolen." The mother's breath caught. She wanted to grab the paper, tear it up, throw it away, but she could not. Something deep inside her told her that every mark he made was important. She looked closer. The symbols on the page. They were not random. They had a pattern. She did not know how, but she could feel it. "Why do they talk to you?" she asked softly. The boy finally looked up. His eyes were heavy with sadness, far older than his years. "Because I listen," the mother's chest tightened. Children often had dreams, nightmares, strange imaginations. But this was different. His voice did not sound like a child's when he spoke about the voices. It sounded borrowed, like the words came from somewhere else. "Show me," she whispered. The boy hesitated, then placed his small hand over hers. His skin was warm, but when his eyes closed, a chill spread through her body. At first, nothing happened. Then she heard it, faint like wind moving through cracks, but clear enough to freeze her blood. "We are here." Her hand trembled. She wanted to pull away, but her son gripped her tighter. "We are trapped where the stars once were. The light was stolen, the sky devoured. The thief is searching." "The thief will come," the mother gasped, ripping her hand back. Her chair scraped loudly against the floor. Her heart thundered. She looked at her son, shaking her head in disbelief, but the boy only whispered, "I told you, Mama." Her throat burned with questions. What thief? What kind of voices? Why her son? But no answer came, only the sound of the pencil scratching against paper again. By the afternoon, the drawings filled the table. Circles that looked like maps, lines that seemed to point somewhere far beyond Earth. The mother ran her fingers over them, lost in confusion. She did not understand, but she could not deny it. This was not normal. Suddenly, a loud knock shook the door. The mother jumped. The boy's pencil froze midline. Voices came from outside, deep, commanding. "This is the government. Open the door." Her stomach twisted. How did they know? The boy's eyes filled with tears. "They're here for me." The mother pressed a finger to his lips. Quiet. The knocking grew louder. "We need to speak to the child. We know he has information." Her knees went weak. She had heard stories, how officials had already taken away people who claimed to have visions, people who spoke of strange dreams. None of them ever returned. Her eyes darted around the room. The papers, the symbols. She quickly swept them into a drawer, slamming it shut just as the knock turned into a hard bang. "Open the door now." She forced her voice to steady. "My son is just a child. Leave us alone." Silence followed. Then one of the men outside spoke, low but cold. "We will return. Do not try to hide him." Heavy footsteps faded away. The mother locked the door, then turned to her son. He sat trembling, clutching his pencil like a weapon. She knelt beside him, holding his face in her hands. "Listen to me. From now on, you must not speak of the voices. Not to anyone, not ever. Do you understand?" Tears rolled down his cheeks. "But Mama, if I stay silent, the stars will never come back." Her heart cracked at his words. She pulled him close, her arms wrapping tight around him. "I will protect you," she whispered fiercely. "No matter what. But you must trust me. Promise me." The boy buried his face against her shoulder. His voice was muffled but steady. "I promise." The mother closed her eyes, fighting back her own tears. Outside, the world was collapsing into chaos with no stars to guide them. But she knew the real danger was not the empty sky. It was the secret her son carried, and now others knew he had it. The first threat, the sun rose on a world without stars. For most, it brought no comfort. People feared the day now as much as the night, for the sky felt broken. News channels spoke with trembling voices, promising answers they did not have. Scientists argued on television, priests prayed in crowded temples, and soldiers filled the streets to control panicked crowds. But inside the small house on the edge of town, fear took a new shape. The mother had not forgotten the heavy knock on her door. She had not forgotten the warning, "We will return." Every sound outside made her jump. Every shadow passing by the window felt like a threat. Her son sat quietly in the corner, clutching his drawings. He had promised to keep the secret, but his eyes betrayed the weight of it. A child should not have carried such a burden. Yet he did silently, his little shoulders trembling under an invisible storm. That afternoon, the threat arrived. Dark cars rolled down the empty street, black windows reflecting the dead sky. They stopped in front of the house. Men stepped out, tall, dressed in plain suits, faces stern and unreadable. Their shoes crunched on gravel as they moved with military precision. The mother's breath caught. She grabbed her son's hand. Go to your room. Hide under the bed. Do not come out no matter what. The boy's eyes widened, but he obeyed. His small feet ran upstairs, the wooden floor creaking softly under his weight. She waited until the sound of his door closed. Then came the knock. Slow, heavy, inevitable. She opened the door only a crack. Yes? A tall man with a sharp jaw and cold eyes stood there. His voice was calm, but each word cut like steel. We need to speak with your son. Her grip on the door tightened. He is only a child. The man tilted his head slightly. Children can sometimes see what adults cannot. We believe your boy knows something about what happened to the sky. Her heart pounded. You're mistaken. He doesn't know anything. Another man stepped forward holding a folder. He opened it, revealing photographs. Her breath froze. They were pictures of her son's drawings. Circles, lines, symbols. Exactly what he had been sketching on the kitchen table. How did you get these? She whispered. The first man's lips curved into a faint smile. We know more than you think. Your son is not safe here. He will come with us. For the good of the world. Her blood turned cold. Not safe here? She understood what he meant. They were not offering protection. They were taking him. She shook her head. You can't have him. The smile vanished. The man's voice hardened. If you resist, you will regret it. For a moment, silence hung heavy between them. The mother's hands shook, but she did not move aside. She met his eyes with all the strength she had left. My son is not leaving this house. The man studied her face, then slowly stepped back. We will not force this in today. But understand this, woman. Secrets bring danger, and when danger comes, no one will save you. With that, the men returned to their cars. Engines roared, and the vehicles rolled away, leaving behind a trail of dust and dread. The mother shut the door quickly, leaning her back against it. Her knees trembled. She pressed a hand to her chest, feeling her heart race. Then she ran upstairs. Her son was under the bed, hugging his knees tightly. She knelt down, pulling him into her arms. His small body shook against hers. They wanted me, didn't they? He whispered. Yes, she said softly. But I won't let them take you. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Mama, I'm scared. They know about the drawings. They know everything. She stroked his hair, whispering fiercely. Listen to me. No matter what they know, no matter what they try, you are mine, and I will fight for you. The boy closed his eyes, clinging to her with all his strength. But that night, when the house grew quiet, the mother could not sleep. She sat by the window, watching the empty sky. And then she saw it. A light, not from the stars, but from above the tree line. A cold, pale glow moving silently across the horizon. It was not a plane. It made no sound, only a hum that vibrated in her bones. The boy appeared beside her, rubbing his tired eyes. They're here, he whispered, her throat tightened. Who? He pointed at the light. Not the men, not the government. The ones who stole the stars. The glow paused in the sky as if searching, scanning. Then slowly it drifted closer. The mother pulled her son back from the window, pressing him against her chest. Her body shook, but her voice was steady. Then we hide. We survive, and we do not let them take you. Outside, the silent machine hovered. Inside, the mother held her son tighter, her mind racing with fear and defiance. The stars were gone. The world was breaking, and now both human and something far worse were hunting her child. Escape. The night pressed heavy on the small house. The silence outside was unnatural, broken only by the faint hum of the strange light that drifted above the trees. The mother sat frozen by the window, clutching her son in her arms. Every instinct in her body screamed to move, but fear rooted her in place. The boy's voice was barely a whisper. They are looking for me. Her heart pounded. The government had come. Now something not of this world had come too. Both wanted her child. Both would not stop. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to stand. We cannot stay here. Pack your things. The boy's eyes widened. Where will we go? Somewhere safe, she lied, though she had no answer. Safe no longer existed. Within minutes, she filled a small bag. Water, food, a flashlight, the boy's papers of strange drawings. Her hands shook as she stuffed them inside, but she did not leave a single page behind. If the men or the machines found them, they would know too much. The boy clutched her hand tightly. His skin was warm, but his eyes were distant, listening to whispers she could not hear. "They're close," he said suddenly. Her blood turned cold. She killed the lights, pulling him toward the back door. As they stepped outside, the air was sharp and still. The forest behind the house stretched tall and dark, a wall of shadows. The hum above grew louder. The glow spread across the ground like a ghostly hand reaching for them. "Run," she whispered. They ran into the trees, their feet crunching leaves and snapping twigs. The mother's chest burned, but she did not slow down. She glanced back only once and saw it. The pale machine hovering, scanning the house, searching like a predator sniffing for prey. Her son tugged her arm. "They know we're not inside anymore." Branches whipped against their faces as they pushed deeper into the forest. The boy stumbled, but she lifted him in her arms, carrying him despite the weight. Fear gave her strength. Behind them, the light followed. At last, they reached a narrow river. The water shimmered faintly under the glow of the machine. The mother's lungs ached. She set her son down, gripping his shoulders. "We have to cross," she said. The boy looked at the rushing water, his small face pale. "I can't swim." Her heart twisted. "Then hold on to me. No matter what happens, don't let go." He nodded, trembling. Together they stepped into the freezing water. It bit at their skin, dragging at their legs. The current pulled hard, but she forced herself forward, clutching him tightly. Every step felt heavier, every second longer. The machine's light spread across the trees. It had found them. The boy gasped. "Mama, it sees us." Her body screamed with exhaustion, but she pushed harder. Halfway across, the water rose to her chest, threatening to sweep them both away. And then it happened. The hum of the machine turned into a piercing sound, sharp and metallic, shaking the forest. The boy cried out, covering his ears. The mother forced her head up and saw it, another light rising in the distance. Not pale, but golden. It cut across the sky, brighter and warmer than the first. The machine froze, its beam flickering. The boy's eyes widened. "They're watching too. Not just the thieves, and what do you mean?" She gasped, struggling to keep her head above water. But he did not answer. His gaze was fixed on the golden light, his lips moving silently as though repeating words only he could hear. The pale machine gave a low growl, retreating into the trees. The golden glow held steady for a moment, then vanished, leaving only darkness. The mother dragged them both out onto the far bank of the river, collapsing on the wet ground. Her chest heaved, her arms trembling as she clutched her son close. They were alive, for now. The boy lifted his head, whispering, "Mama, the voices are not alone. There are others. Some want to help. Some want to hurt. I don't know which is which." She brushed his wet hair back, her jaw set. "Then we cannot trust any of them." "Not yet." He nodded slowly, his small face grave. The forest around them creaked in the night. Owls called, branches groaned. But somewhere far behind, the hum of machines still lingered. The mother knew the men would return, and the pale hunters from the sky would not stop searching. Her son was caught in something far greater than them both, something that stretched beyond Earth itself. But she also knew one thing with absolute certainty. She would not give him up. Not to the men. Not to the machines. Not to the voices in the dark. Her arms tightened around him as if her strength alone could shield him from the universe. For the first time in her life, she did not fear the darkness. She defied it, and the night, silent and endless, seemed to listen. The revelation. The forest was quiet again, but the mother knew it would not last. She and her son sat by the riverbank, soaked and shivering. The boy leaned against her, his small body weak from the struggle. She rubbed his arms, whispering promises she wasn't sure she could keep. The pale machine had gone, but its memory lingered in the air. And that golden light, bright, strange, almost protective, still burned in her thoughts. She looked at her son. His eyes were half closed, but his lips moved silently, as if speaking to someone she could not hear. "Who are you talking to?" she asked gently. He opened his eyes slowly. They were darker than usual, full of secrets. The voices. They never stop. They speak when I'm awake, when I'm asleep. They're always there. Her chest tightened. "What do they say?" The boy hesitated, then whispered, "They tell me the stars are not gone. They are locked away, hidden in a prison older than our world." Her breath caught. "Prison? By who?" He shook his head. "Not by who, by what? Something that eats light. Something that hates it. They call it the thief." The word fell heavy in the air, darker than the empty sky above. The mother tried to push it away. How could you know this? You're only a child. His small voice grew firmer. Because I can hear them. They were trapped when the stars vanished. I'm the only one who listens. Her hands trembled. The world had fallen into chaos. Governments were desperate, and now her son carried truths no human should know. She wanted to believe he was only imagining things. But deep down, she knew better. The boy reached into the bag and pulled out his drawings. Wet edges curled from the river water, but the symbols still shone clear. He spread them across the ground. These are maps, he said. Not of Earth, of the prison where the stars are kept. The mother stared. The circles and lines that had once looked like nonsense now seemed alive. They stretched in patterns too precise for a child to invent. She had no way to understand them, but she could feel their weight. The boy tapped one of the symbols. This is where they are. They wait for someone to free them. She shivered. And they want you to do it? He nodded. Yes, they say I am the bridge. My voice can reach their prison. If I speak the words they give me, the door will open. Her stomach twisted. If you open it, what happens? The boy's face clouded. His voice dropped to a whisper. They will return. The stars will shine again, but... He hesitated as though the words themselves hurt. Their enemies will follow. The ones who stole the stars will come here. To Earth, the mother's blood ran cold. It was no longer only about the stars. It was about survival. Then we cannot trust them, she said sharply. They want to use you. They don't care what happens to us. The boy's lips trembled. But Mama, if I stay silent, the stars will never come back. The world will stay in darkness. Tears stung her eyes. She wanted to scream at the sky, to demand why her child had been chosen. He should have been playing games, running in fields, dreaming simple dreams. Instead, he carried the weight of the universe. Before she could answer, the forest shifted. A branch snapped. The boy's head jerked up. They're here again. The mother pulled him close, scanning the shadows. At first she thought it was the pale machines returning, but then she saw something else. Figures, human shapes moving through the trees, men in black suits, their faces hidden by masks, soldiers carrying weapons. Their boots crunched on the forest floor as they spread out, moving like hunters. Her chest tightened. The government had found them. She whispered to her son, "Quiet. Do not make a sound." They crouched low, hidden behind the roots of an ancient tree. The men passed close, their flashlights slicing through the darkness. The boy's breath shook. He pressed his lips to her ear. "Mama, they won't stop. The voices say the men want the maps. If they get them, they'll try to use me. They'll force me to open the prison." Her stomach knotted. The soldiers were already too close. She knew she could not outrun them forever. The boy clutched her hand. "Mama, if I open the prison, the stars will come back. But so will the thief's army. If I stay silent, the stars remain gone and the world will die in the dark. There is no safe choice," her breath caught. For the first time, she realized the full truth. This was not only about saving her son. This was about saving or dooming the world. The boy's voice shook. "What should I do?" The mother's heart thundered. She pulled him close, whispering fiercely, "Nothing, not yet. We run, we hide, we fight if we must. But I will not let them or anyone else decide for you." The boy nodded slowly, tears shining in his eyes. The soldiers passed deeper into the woods, their voices fading. But the mother knew it was only a matter of time. The machines from the sky, the men with their cold orders, and the unseen thief that swallowed light. All of them were closing in, and her child stood at the center of it all. For now, she chose silence, but the universe would not stay silent for long. The choice the forest no longer felt alive. The trees, tall and silent, stood like watchers, their branches clawing against the sky. The mother led her son deeper into the shadows, away from the soldiers and their flashlights, away from the pale machine that had searched the night before. Her heart pounded with every step, but her grip on his hand never loosened. They stopped at a hollow beneath an ancient oak. It was damp and cold, but it gave them cover. She wrapped her coat around the boy, brushing his wet hair back from his forehead. His eyes stared at her, wide and troubled. "They won't stop," he whispered. "The men, the machines, even the thief. All of them are looking for me." Her chest tightened. "Then we stay ahead of them." He shook his head slowly. "I can't run forever, Mama. The voices say I have to choose soon. If I don't, the stars will stay gone. The world will fall apart." The mother clenched her fists. She wanted to scream at the voices for stealing her child's peace, but she only whispered, "You are my son. That is all that matters. Not the stars, not their prison, not their war." The boy lowered his gaze. "But Mama, if I stay silent, everyone will suffer. The oceans will die without the moon. The world will freeze without the stars. People will lose hope," her breath caught. His words cut deep because she knew he was right. Already the nights felt colder, the tides weaker. Without the stars, Earth itself was breaking, and yet if he spoke the words, if he opened the prison, she saw it in her mind. Light flooding back into the sky, hope returning to billions. But behind that light, shadows would follow. The thief's army, the very creatures that swallowed the heavens, would come here to this fragile world. The boy's voice trembled. "What should I do?" The mother cupped his face in her hands, her eyes fierce. "You do nothing until I say. Not the men, not the machines, not the voices. No one tells you what to do except me." Tears welled in his eyes. "But Mama, what if waiting makes it worse?" She hugged him tight, her voice sharp with love and fear. "Then we fight. If they come, we fight. I will protect you no matter the cost." The boy pressed his face into her shoulder. "You can't fight all of them." She closed her eyes. "Then I'll fight until I can't anymore. And when I fall, you'll know I did it for you." Silence filled the hollow. Only the sound of their breathing broke it. But then the forest stirred again. A hum, low and steady, drifted through the trees. The boy stiffened. "They're here." The mother's stomach turned. She pulled him close, peering through the roots of the oak. The pale machine had returned. Its cold glow moved between the trunks, scanning the ground. Behind it, dark figures marched, soldiers again, their rifles gleaming under the light. The boy clutched her arm. "Mama, if they take me, they'll force me to speak the words. They'll open the prison without mercy, and then the thief's army will come." Her blood froze. He was right. The men would not hesitate. They would use him like a tool, no matter the cost. The boy's voice was urgent now. "Mama, if I speak the words myself, maybe I can control it. Maybe I can bring back the stars without letting the thief's army in." She grabbed his shoulders, her face inches from his. "Or maybe you can't. Maybe it's a trick. Maybe they want you to believe you have power, when really they only want to open the door." The hum grew louder. The soldiers spread out. Flashlights cut across the darkness, sweeping closer. The mother's heart pounded. Time was running out. She pulled her son into her arms, her whisper fierce. "You are not their weapon. You are not their savior. You are mine. And as long as I breathe, no one decides for you." The boy's tears streaked down his cheeks. "But Mama, what if I am the only one who can save everyone?" Her chest ached. The truth was cruel, he might be. The hum vibrated through the ground now. Lights swept across the oak. Voices shouted. The soldiers had found their trail. The mother's choice came sharp and clear in her mind. She would not give him up. She would not let him speak the words. "Not yet." She pulled the boy to his feet. "We run." Together they burst from the hollow, crashing through the forest. Shouts erupted behind them. The glow of the machine followed, blinding, merciless. Branches clawed at their skin. Roots threatened to trip their feet. The boy's breath came in sharp gasps. The mother's lungs burned. But she did not slow. She knew the danger. She knew the cost. But she also knew this. If her son spoke now, the world might burn. If her son stayed silent, the world might wither. And between burning and withering, she chose defiance. The forest roared with pursuit. The machine's hum grew closer. But in the mother's heart there was no fear left, only fire. She would protect her child. She would fight the world itself if she had to. The choice was made. The Defiance, the forest burned with light. The pale machine hovered above the trees, its cold glow sweeping the ground like a searchlight. Soldiers stormed through the undergrowth, shouting, rifles raised, their boots pounding like thunder. The mother ran, clutching her son's hand. Her lungs ached, her legs shook, but she did not stop. Every step was a battle, every breath a fight. Behind her, the voices of the hunters grew louder. Ahead of her stretched only darkness. The boy stumbled, falling to his knees. "Mama, I can't." She pulled him up, her heart breaking at his weakness. His face was pale, his eyes wide with fear, but still his hand clung to hers. The machine's hum deepened, shaking the earth. A beam of pale light struck the ground beside them, scorching the leaves. The soldiers cheered, shouting orders. The boy gasped. "They're going to take me." The mother turned, fire in her eyes. "Not while I breathe." She pulled him behind a fallen log, crouching low. The machine hovered overhead, its glow piercing the shadows. Soldiers surrounded them, moving in from all sides. The circle was closing. The mother's mind raced. She had no weapons, no allies, no hope, but she had her will, and her will was stronger than fear. She looked at her son, brushing his hair back with trembling fingers. Listen to me. Whatever happens, do not speak the words. Do not open the prison. Promise me. Tears filled his eyes. But Mama, the stars promise me, she snapped, her voice breaking. He swallowed hard and nodded. I promise, the soldiers advanced. The machine lowered, its beam widening, ready to seize them both. The mother stood tall, pulling her son behind her. Her voice rang out, fierce and unshaken. You will not take him. The soldiers froze for a moment, surprised at her defiance. Then one stepped forward, raising his weapon. Move aside, woman. He is not yours anymore. He belongs to the world, her jaw tightened. He belongs to no one but me. The soldier's eyes narrowed. He gestured, and two men moved in. The mother grabbed a branch from the ground, holding it like a weapon. She knew it was useless against rifles, but she did not care. She would not give up without a fight. Stay back, she shouted, swinging the branch. The soldiers laughed, mocking her courage. But then the boy cried out, Mama, look. Above them, the sky split. A crack of golden light tore across the heavens, wider and brighter than before. It spilled down like fire, cutting through the machine's pale glow. The forest lit up in colors unseen, gold and silver twisting through the branches. The machine trembled, its hum breaking into static. The soldiers staggered, shielding their eyes. The boy clutched his mother's hand. His voice rose, trembling but powerful. They are here. The ones trapped. They are answering me. The mother's breath caught. She turned to him, gripping his shoulders. Don't. You promised. His face twisted with pain. Mama, if I don't, the stars will never return. The world will die, her heart shattered. The choice she had fought so hard to delay was here, inescapable. The boy lifted his hands, his voice echoing like thunder. Strange words spilled from his lips, words not his own but borrowed from something far older. The golden crack widened, spilling brilliance across the sky. The mother screamed, trying to stop him, but the soldiers rushed in. She swung her branch, striking one across the face, then another. She fought with every ounce of her strength. Wild and unrelenting, the machine screeched, its pale light collapsing under the golden blaze. And then the stars returned one by one. They flickered back into the sky, burning brighter than ever before. The night lit up with a million lights, dazzling, endless, eternal. The soldiers froze in awe. The machine shrieked and vanished into the dark. The boy collapsed, his body trembling, his lips still glowing faintly with the last of the ancient words. The mother fell beside him, pulling him into her arms. It's over, she whispered. The stars are back, but the boy shook his head weakly. No, it's not over. They're coming. Her blood froze. Who? His eyes heavy with exhaustion met hers. The thief's army. The ones who hate the light. They will come here to Earth. The mother held him tighter, her heart breaking, her body trembling. The stars had returned, but the cost had been set. Above them, the sky shone brilliantly. Around them, the forest was silent once more, and in that silence, the mother's voice rose, steady and unbreakable. Then let them come. I will fight them all. I will fight the universe itself if I must. You are my son, and I will never let you go. The boy buried his face against her chest, safe in her arms. The stars glittered overhead, bright and eternal, but their light carried a shadow, a promise of war, a storm yet to come. And at the center of it all stood a mother and her child, bound by love, defiance, and the weight of the universe.